Scano. Hi, we made it. Today was one of those days. It was a little challenge. This technology, I thought this was going to be that was an old thing. Technology wasn't going to get in the way, but today we had a little bit of a um, hiccup, but you know, that's okay. That's okay. So, Nyawa, for being here. Andrea, thanks for showing up and being here and supporting this collective that we spoke about a couple of years ago, and we're continuing, even though it's really getting busy out there. So many of our helpers are busy, but say they're coming, and we know they're coming. We know there's so many people waking up right now, just like the little critters, and I'm seeing how green and lush it is where I'm at. And so just going to take this moment to acknowledge the people and the beautiful energies that are provided for us to keep us going. And just there, it's why we're here. When we look outside these windows and see this beautiful change in our in our lives and in the space in the natural world, it's really what's supposed to keep us going in awakening, this time of awakening. So I'd like to just say, hey girl, hey Lacey, and a few of our other sisters and friends that have joined us. When we have challenges like we do coming on this platform today, and it's been a few times, we have to look at that in a positive way. These are just some of the things in life that sometimes make us think, they make us stronger. It's so easy to say, okay, I'm not feeling this, and it's, we're not going to do this anymore. But what I know is that's the time that we're in right now. And this morning, before I came into this chat, I received a phone call from a community member I never talked to, or never had any kind of connection with, but found grandmother's voice from their neighborhood and saw a sign and checked the QR code and checked us out and said, hey, I want to, our community wants to become greener and more connected, and we don't really know where to start. And when we started our work here a few years ago, Andrea, that's really what we did. How do we reach out? So thank you everyone for joining us today and for this opportunity to just be in community. My name is Jody Harbour. I'm a co-founder of Grandmother's Voice. My great grandmother was Cayuga, Six Nations of the Grand River Territory. My father, that's on my father's side, and on my mom's side, Romanian and Irish, English. Irish is my husband, who is always reminding me. But I love hanging out with you, Andrea. Thanks for coming along, and introduce yourself. I'm happy you're here.
Thanks, Jody. I'm happy to be here too. My camera is about 15 seconds behind, so my face isn't going to match my words, I don't think, but
that's okay.
We'll muster through this. And yeah, I'm happy to be doing this work with you because, well, for lots of reasons, but yeah, I feel very strongly that I'm where I'm meant to be right now and making connections in the community. And I think that today's topic about collective work is just a good reminder that we can't do this alone. We need community partnerships. We need our network. And we're better off in so many ways when we work together. So thanks for bringing me along on your journey. And yeah, happy to be here.
Yeah, Nyawa. And I've known each other for quite some time in the community, and so just kind of going back to collectiveness and doing this work together. We know, as Indigenous people, just as people, no longer, not just about Indigenous people, the work that we're doing, we need to come together right now. And no more silos, no more, this is the work that I need to do and this is the work that you need to do. What I'm noticing in just in society in general is that um, there's a huge shift and awareness and awakening, and people are, I believe, with all of the truth and reconciliation and you know where we are today in society, we just like feel this shift and kind of like this paralyzed um, space right now where people are like, okay, so now I have all this information. All I've been doing is learning and and trying to engage. And how do we move forward? How do we move forward in society together when for so long it was like we were separated? And I say, and when I say so long, I'm thinking even through COVID. But before COVID, we were still separated, and I think if we want to get into the real, I think, from a spiritual perspective, a reality perspective, when we talk about our systems that we live in, it's a reality, right? All of this training we've been doing for, BIPOC and EDI and, Truth and Reconciliation, United Nations of, Declaration of Indigenous People, like all of these frameworks are to show us how to return back to community, how to be awake.
Mm-hmm.
And we're in a time where to do that, we have to return to the land because that's where all the original instructions belong or are or still happening. And so, I take this conversation today that you created. That's what I love about what's happening here is that, in relationship with non-Indigenous people, we are, you're able to move. You're able to actually feel comfortable in making decisions about what conversations you need to have. And we're doing this in relationship. So I appreciate you thought of the topic today. So now that I've just kind of blah, blah, you share what you're thinking.
Well, I guess in creating the topic, it really came from the work that we're doing, getting ready for the Dennis Windigo workshop, and reaching out to our networks. And how do we invite people? How do we reach people? How do we explain the I don't know whether urgency is the right word, but the necessity, the timing around inviting people into this training. And really, for me, it came down to what is this training even going to provide? Why do non-Indigenous people need to come to this training? And trying to wrap my own head around what am I going to get out of it? And I think it came back to how do we relate better to each other? How do I learn Indigenous practices so that I better understand? And in one of the descriptions, it described something about so we can repair relationships and come back together. And then the whole series that we're doing here is the Environmental Collective. So doing this work together. I don't know. So I just thought, well, let's talk about the word collective. Let's talk about the relationships. And as a nonprofit organization, we can't do everything. So we rely on our community partners and relationships, personal and business relationships. So I don't know. For me, it was like, let's talk about that. How do we do this? Taking ego out of it. We can't be everything to all people. So how do we focus on our strengths and ask people for help for something that's not our strength or that we don't yet have capacity to do?
Or confidence. That's what I hear, right? I hear that all the time. And, it's pretty funny that that here we are talking about Environmental Collective and how it's really shifted. Hey, Al, like, Andrea, since we started this and working together closely, is that what does environmental look like, right? And even when we did that environmental scan with the Halton region, it was like, okay, so what are we doing here? Well, this is our responsibility. If we're looking at how the elders are engaging people with moving through Indigenous ways of knowing and really supporting people to do this work, be the change, what do we need to share and show? And so environmental comes in so many different ways, right? It's not just the earth. It's about how we are in relationship with each other, our environments around us, our workspaces and places. And so, yeah, I think it's awesome how we just started to do this and picking up each other and building up each other, because what I've noticed since we started with Grandmother's Voice, and this is the reality. The reality is you collect people, right? They all come in because they're all excited. They all want to do it. But who stays? Who has the courage to stay in the conversation? Like, because I know before we went live today, I said to Andrew, I'm not feeling it. Today was a tough day in the, day in the life of building Grandmother's Voice and trying to bring people together and then trying to keep them there. Because we think that we can, this self-determination, we can do this ourselves. But truly, do you want to? We're supposed to work together to elevate each other. So this is so important to continue to build this. And thank you for your comments. Is it Tally and Leslie? And we're just guided, we're guided by this work. And I think that it's so important that everyone knows that we're all we're coming from the same place. We all our responsibility and role should be to be with each other and stand with each other. And so, thank you, Andrea, for standing with me. It's important.
Oh, you brought me in.
I think I wasn't sure if she needed to be in the room or not. We'll figure this out. Did you need that for the sound? Did you need that for the sound?
No.
Yeah. No. Okay, so there we can hear you. Are you supposed to be there? Can you talk for a minute? Just make sure.
Yeah, can you kick out that second copy of me? There we go.
Okay. Awesome. Sorry about that.
Okay.
And I love this comment here from Tally. I want to learn it all. And it's so true. I remember this is just like a personal story of mine. And I think this was a big part of what led me to do Grandmother's Voice. And it was, I think I was probably about 12 and I was walking home by myself and I was shamed in my classroom, I think, about something that I didn't know. And I remember walking down the street just by myself thinking, I want to know everything. I want to know everything. I want to be smart. I want to be smart and I want to know everything. And I don't want to, I don't want to ever feel the way that I felt in that classroom today when that teacher, made me feel stupid. And then through one of my journeys with one of my healers, supporters, it was this whole awakening where it was like, do I really need to be smart and know everything? Or do I just need to know what I need to know? And need to know in a sense that who I am as a person. And just being confident, which was, again, something that you said, confident in what I want and who I am as a person is really the truth. And so, That's where grandmother's voice came from, was really just saying, okay, I want to know more. And if I'm wrong or right or know or don't know, I just want to learn, exactly, to teach each other. That's exactly it. Because I don't know everything, but I know that I want our community to heal, and I want our communities to heal. And I want to be able to share this knowledge that the elders are so openly sharing with us, because it was meant for all of us. And so, this is the important conversation, right? I don't know. There's Andrea trying to figure out what box she's in today. Can you hear me? Because I feel like I'm just totally rambling now. Can you jump in here? Actually, Tally and I are having a great conversation. And for those of you who, this is a really good opportunity to share, what it is you'd like to see and hear and learn more about, because our right now, our Indigenous communities are, I want to say, in demand. The people are in demand. Our knowledge is in demand, and right now, this is the time to really come together to support, instead of pulling us apart. This is the time to come together. And this is why we create these opportunities, so that we can hear from people to, what is it that you'd like to see? What is it that you'd like to, to engage more in? What do you need to move you in your communities?
I like the comment, I want to learn to teach others. And I think it really comes down back to sitting, having those conversations, learning what are the questions, how do we communicate with each other, how do we share that knowledge without it being a one-way street, a one-way conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes time.
Definitely. And I love this. Again, Tally again is saying, I want to, actually, I'm going to pop these conversations in here, because we can show this on the screen as I'm trying to navigate which box to have Andrea in here.
I'm sorry.
No, don't worry about it. But I love this. I want to learn about community and healing, physically and mentally. And I'll just share with you too, with Dennis Wendigo, he's going to be in town. I dropped the link in here, June 7th and 8th. And just to tell this story real quick, I met Dennis for the first time in Ottawa at Wabano, and he was presenting there. And then I met him a few years later on our Grandmother's Voice platform, when somebody had brought him in. And one of our survivors said, I'd like to bring my healer in. And so when I met him, I was like, oh my gosh, you're that guy. You're that guy that I feel like when I saw him, I was like, this guy can heal the world. He's, we're in a time right now where connecting back to Indigenous ways of knowing, that we're left out of society, left out of our, systems, are left out of everything. Right. And now what we're realizing, or what society knows, the Indigenous people know, is that we need to embed this back into our systems, because it's lacking. We're lacking that connection to, like here you're saying, Tally, living, healing yourself. And these are ways that Indigenous people, believe that our body, we're the only ones that can take care and heal ourselves. So, and this is through the connection to the land and connection to our ancestors and our purpose. And so, so when I met Dennis, I was like, oh my gosh, tell me about yourself. Like, I really want to know what your vision is, what you do. And he shared that he travels in, northern and rural communities, supporting communities that are in crisis, and healing from an Indigenous perspective and lens, and land-based approaches. And I was like, how can we elevate this? How can we get your teachings into our Western world and our society, so people can really connect and heal themselves? And so that's what it's all about. That's what June 7th and 8th is all about here in Milton. And it's funny too, because Andrea, that I'm so busy with a lot of things happening, and the fact that you just kind of thought about this, I really appreciate that. That's standing with each other, right? I feel really supported right now. So I really appreciate you. And I appreciate you, Tally, by, just you commenting here and being vulnerable and sharing your story. That's what this is about. We love to do these lives because not everyone wants to be in a room. Not everyone wants to be in a Zoom room. People don't want to be in a private room. And this is a really good way for people that are watching that are just beginning to learn and want to know more, for showing up. This is a good way for them to show up. So that's why we created it. Thank you. So we did jump on a little bit later than normal, and I think Kevin did say he was coming, but you never know. He's a boots on the ground kind of guy, right? So we appreciate when he is here. He has a lot of knowledge, but maybe today was just really about this space and time, and I'm going to honor that and appreciate that that we've been able to connect with the people watching. And Tally, yeah, please check out Dennis Windigo's event on our link that we provided here. And he'll be in town on June 7th and 8th. And he'll be with the grandmas. The grandmothers, support the room and support him in the way that he shares. They're there really to kind of support the people that show up in the room. And Dennis delivers his knowledge, transfers the knowledge, and he's pretty amazing. And I really do believe that we're in a time of a collective consciousness and really returning people back to, living in a good, practical, I guess you could use the practical, or even like a collective common sense, I guess you could say. How do we get back to that and really caring for each other?
Good question. Yeah. We need to get out of the rat race, determine what it means to be successful in our lives. It's not always just money and things. Sometimes it's relationships and health and thinking about others around us too. So I'm looking forward to the training.
Yeah. Yes, me too. I find, I'm grateful, and I think I'm pretty blessed to be in the space with some of these, not some, all of them. Anyone that shows up, usually there's always something to be grateful for when someone else shows up in the room with you. It doesn't matter if it's one or many. So we invite everyone to take a peek at that and see if it resonates. And we do, if there's anyone that needs financial support with it, we definitely consider and can support that. For those of you who are, working in the wellness field or in our health care systems, this is a really great opportunity for you to learn more. And anyone that does work outside and works with the land, this is really, really great opportunity to connect with the elders and to, for a better understanding of how you connect, and from your heart. This is knowledge for everyone, and that's one thing that they share openly, is that this knowledge is for everyone, because we do need to heal. And sharing this information is for healing. So Nyawa for being here, Andrea. I appreciate you. I appreciate everyone that's here and that shows up for Grandmother's Voice. We'll see you. We'll definitely see you next week. We'll see what Andrea comes up with then.
Well, we had a suggestion for next week's topic, and I totally love it because May long weekend is typically when we think of, okay, finally we can get into our gardens. Everybody's got an extra day to get outside, do some work. And the comment was, why are big box stores, local plant nurseries still selling invasive species? Why are we not able to find more native plants, things that should be in our gardens? Why are we doing so many, or why are there so many invasive plants and things that just should not be sold and made available? Why are we still propagating them? So next week's topics is all about what we should be putting into our gardens.
We should do something about that. I don't know. Do we write a letter? What do we do about that?
There are a few movements, and I will try and collect the information by then. Carolinian Canada, I believe, is spearheading one of them and working with the local plant nurseries to collect native seeds, to propagate those, and to make them more readily available, and petitioning the invasive species council, I can't remember what they're all called, to ban some of these other plants. So I will collect that information in time for next week.
That's a really good truth and reconciliation kind of project we could do. We could hit up these big box places and be like, hey, let's do some some kind of brainstorming about how we can get some more of the native species in there. Thank you, Tally. You're amazing. We'll talk to you soon. Yeah, this is cool. All right. So thanks so much for everyone for joining us, and we'll see you soon. We'll see you next week. And please share any ideas that you have. You can message us here or just message on our Grandmother's Voice Facebook chat. Or you can actually email volunteer@grandmothersvoice.com. Nyawa, for your time.